That's where it goes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Make Me Smart, the live edition. This is Economics on Tap, and today is where we once again will try to make today make sense. And joining me today is my DC Bureau colleague, Scott Tong. Hey, Scott.
Hello, friend Kimberly. When am I going to see you in person is the question. For now, it's good to see you on the screen for Happy Hour Friday, as we call it. Economics on tap,
And
no
the
pun left
puppy.
behind over here. Yes, and our aging hound Duke is right behind me here. The pandemic has been greatest for him since there's people around
I'll
here all the
bet.
time.
Well, I got my vaccine today, so hopefully we can meet up for drinks again soon. I
Bravo.
was telling Megan yesterday that you're one of the few people with whom I can do Make Me Smart, with whom I have actually had drinks in real life,
Yep,
because
there
we
we go.
sit like two cubicles away from each other in the DC Bureau in the before times.
That's right. Well, and have had drinks before. We don't have to tell too
No, we
publicly our
shouldn't. We
Nancy
shouldn't.
Marshall Genzer
Mm-mm.
alcohol story, but we'll just kind of leave that for people to think out loud about.
Oh, Nancy.
Looking forward to the next time.
Yes, yes. What are you drinking right now, by the way?
Oh, so can I hold this up? Are you going to be able to see this? So I'm drinking a
Yeah, the
Malbec.
people on the live stream should see it.
The people on the live
Oh,
stream will
okay.
see. So I've been to Argentina one time in my life, but that was long enough for me to get hooked on this. So I'm basically trying as many of the Malbecs in town that I can of a particular um, price point. So the cheapskate version of trying as many as I can. So we're on this one. This is a good one. This is from Argentina, Mendoza, and it's from a place called Wellesley Farms. And you?
I am I love red wine as you well know,
I
but
do know.
today I am drinking just a concoction of tequila, bitters, and pear juice, just because it was what was in front of me, and I threw it together and it's delicious.
Well, it sounds
Mm.
nice in spring.
Let's
So,
Yeah, sure. Let's see what everybody's drinking in the live chat. Let's see. Lots of people loving your wine choice. And I've seen, let's see, I'm scrolling up.
well, you're seeing it and I'm
They want
not,
us
so
to tell
keep
the
going.
Nancy Marshall Genzer story. Hazy IPA, lots of good dog dukes. Um, all of the chat is basically people saying puppy. Okay, well,
Ah,
Woodford Reserve and ginger beer with whiskey. That's Cheryl Lindstrom. Uh, Judy is drinking Pinot Noir. Zam Fantastic is doing cherry sweet stout. And all right, great drinks. Love it. And let's
yeah,
get to the news. The live stream is up and running. We're going to do the news. We're going to do a little half full, half empty. And
sounds
Scott, why
good.
don't you go first with your news item?
Okay, so from the Marketplace Special Desk of Trade Secrets, there is a federal trial. As you know, as you may know, I geek out on these kind of things and have been doing a bunch of reporting on intellectual property and stealing
I
secrets.
probably
And
don't
so
know, Scott.
there is a federal case that began this week on, you guessed it, the proprietary contents of a Coke can. So not the
What?
secret soda, not the pop inside, but the actual can. On the inside, there's this polymer coating stuff that's proprietary, preserves the flavor of what you're drinking inside. And a naturalized U.S. citizen, a woman of Chinese descent, is accused. She worked for Coca-Cola. She worked for Eastman of pilfering the recipe for this for this famous stuff. You may recall BPA, right? The stuff that
Yeah,
had
yeah.
been in bottles and cans, and they're trying to get rid of it. So this is an alternative BPA. Costs $1 billion to figure out how to make an alternative, and it's a secret. And this person is accused of lifting this secret and trying to bring it over to China. Trial began this week, and we'll see how it goes. Not on the front page, Kimberly.
That's so well, it's so interesting though, but it affects so many people. And I guess when you're talking about the lining of Coke cans, I mean, like, what other brands does Coke own that also use this same polymer? So it's probably a really big deal.
Yeah, I don't know, water bottles, other kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing where I presume the mature soda industry knows a lot about, and it's something that they've had to. As I was looking through this, I had to
Mm-hmm.
Google like weird, bizarre trade secrets cases, and it turns out the food industry has a lot of them. So
Oh,
there
do
is a case
tell.
from a few years ago where the color white to dye the middle of the Oreo cookie is a proprietary color white, and someone is accused of stealing that. There's a secret recipe for a popcorn thing called
What?
caramel crisp. And in the restaurant space, there's a proprietary blueprint to recruit and retain. This is the internet says it's true to recruit and retain Hooters staff.
Must mean it's
And
true.
I'm just gonna leave that one right there. Over to
Well,
you.
you can't just leave that one there.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Like, is this like a business plan?
Workforce, right? I mean, we all have our own
Oh, like
ways
it's a
of
workforce
recruiting
retention strategy.
and retaining people. And once you figure it out, it becomes your own intellectual property, your own secrets of succeeding as a corporation. So there you go, right? Google
Okay.
recruits people,
Well,
Intel recruits people, Hooters, yeah, okay.
also recruits people. Uh that I really don't know how to follow that. But you know what? The title of the podcast is Make Me Smart. You have definitely made me smarter about that. Because I have been a downer all week. I wanted
Ah,
something kind of fun for my news fix, and this speaks to my heart
all right, what do
because
you
I
have?
lived in Egypt for a long time.
You did.
They made a archaeological discovery in Egypt of this 3,000-year-old lost golden city. And it's
Hmm.
apparently in really great condition. And they're finding tools and implements, bottles to
Wow.
wine, stoppers to wine bottles from way back in, like way, way, way back in the day. They're calling it the second biggest find, like since the tomb of King Tut, which was something I was super obsessed with when I was a little kid and, wanted to be Laura Croft until I recognized all the problematic things with cultural appropriation, the representation of various groups, and, stealing people's artifacts. But anyway, this
Yeah,
is
look at us.
good and
Yeah, what
exciting.
so
Lots of history there.
what do we know about how they found this place? Was it just one of these digs and suddenly they came
Yeah,
upon this?
well,
Do we know?
it's in Luxor, where near
Uh-huh.
Luxor, where a lot of these
Yeah.
discoveries tend to be, and
Hmm.
Valley of the Kings and all that stuff. It's called the Lost City is called, I believe, Aten,
Hmm.
and it's, according to the story I'm reading in the Washington Post, believed to have been founded by King Am- Amenhotep III, the
Mm-hmm.
ninth king of ancient Egypt's 18th dynasty. It's
I knew that.
an administrative,
Yeah.
and you knew that, of course,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would,
sure.
because you're Scott. It's believed to be the largest administrative and industrial settlement in that area, nestled on the western bank of Luxor. What I love about this is, of the things that survived from 3,000 years ago, it's the
Yeah.
place where all the accountants lived. That's amazing.
Okay, so for those of us who have never been to Luxor and may never go, I think you have an obligation to tell us a little bit about what the place looks like. And have you been there? I'm presuming
This
you
is
have
like
from your time in
the
Egypt.
this is the one of the embarrassments of my life, is that I
Ah,
lived in Egypt for many years and I never made it to Luxor because there was always breaking news, or there was
yeah,
always
yeah.
something that
Well,
I was
that's true.
supposed to be doing, and I just, like, I didn't make it and I can't believe it. So that just gives me a reason to go back. And I spent most of my time in Cairo and on the Mediterranean coast, in like
Yeah.
Alexandria and stuff like that. So
So,
just got to
Kimberly
go back to
Adams,
Egypt to go to
I
Luxor.
mean, you never leave the work is our recurring motif here at Marketplace and on
Uh,
this show is right. I gotta work. I gotta
okay.
work. I can't go see the well. Um, I guess in the alcohol part. I don't know. I was
Okay, too
there was
much,
no party.
Scott.
Yeah.
Too much, too much. It's Friday.
Right.
Drink.
Right.
Drink.
Cheers.
Hmm. All right. Cheers. Do you want to play a game?
Yeah. Here we go. I'm ready. I'm perfect.
Yes. So this is half full, half empty, and our wonderful Drew has got the topics, and we will offer our predictions. And my glass is mostly full, so I can go either way.
First up, are you half full or half empty on vaccine passports?
You go first. Or I go first?
Half full that they're going to be needed, half empty on how people are going to deal with that. Can I do both?
There's no
Scott,
rules.
do you have a stronger
I
feeling
suppose
about this?
I'm half full on this. I think, we talk all the time about the pull of, big business sectors to make something happen. I think this is something that companies in restaurants, tourism, cruises, vacation places, right? They really want this to happen, right? So there can be some
Mm-hmm.
airplanes. They want some kind of signal that people
Mm-hmm.
have had their vaccine. I've seen other places where they actually put these wearables on your wrist or whatever because they can track things, and some of these biometric indicators can suggest whether you have COVID or not. But I mean, to
Mm-hmm.
them, it makes sense. These industries, in their self-interest, I think it makes sense that they want to have this. Um, and I think, for people, there are all kinds of equity problems, right? Some of us are going to get vaccinated sooner than other people. That's a big equity issue. But in terms of, I think, the pull of being able to go somewhere, we all want to go somewhere, right? We all want to do these things that we haven't been able to do for so long. Is I figure, I mean, it seems to me anyway that we have the technology, and we've seen places that are using it. I just was telling Kimberly before we were rolling that I saw this video in Tel Aviv in Israel where so many people are vaccinated, such a large percent of the population. And so when you get this green app or whatever and you're okay, you can go to this nightclub. So I don't know. I feel like the draw for people and the draw for businesses who want this is so strong. There are society implications and otherwise, but I feel like whatever the term's going to be, whether it's vaccine passports, I think
Mm-hmm.
in general they're coming.
Jacob and a couple of other folks in the chat point out that there are already vaccine passports. You have to show like your yellow fever
Yeah.
card and other vaccination proof when you travel abroad. And I definitely found that when I was traveling throughout
Mm-hmm.
Africa, you had to prove all these different vaccinations. I guess what I'm half empty about is how people are going to deal with when technology gets attached to it, when it follows you around in a sort of non-voluntary way. But we'll see.
Yeah,
What's the
I
next one,
mean,
Drew?
it raises all these questions. I agree. But do I think people are nevertheless going to use them? I'm going to go half full.
Are you half
Okay.
full or half empty on distributing the vaccine at Dollar General?
So I did this story
Yes, you
for the
did.
morning show earlier
Why
this
don't you
week.
summarize it for people?
Yes. Okay. So the director of the CDC said about a month ago, she said we're in discussions and we're talking to Dollar General about them being a distribution site for vaccines, given that we know that geographic access, rural areas and certain urban areas, those are the big problems, right? These last mile places to get the vaccines to. And the idea on the table is, well, Dollar Generals go. One of the executives said, we go where other people ain't. So they go where the other stores are not. They go where Walmart is not. They go where I have children coming into my house, so I'm going to ask them to close the door when they come in. So this is live, people. Um, so Dollar General is located in a lot of places, and their statistic is we are, for 75% of Americans, we are within 5 miles of where you are. And there was a study that came out this week, a preprint study, one of these early studies that's not peer-reviewed, and it said, if the administration enlisted Dollar General to become a vaccine site, then it could exceed its goal of providing 90% of Americans with a vaccine site within 5 miles of home. So, hasn't been announced yet. There are all kinds of logistical issues. They have to make sure they have health professionals there. I'm going to go 2 in a row. I'm going to go half full. I think it's going to happen.
I'm going to go half full also. I do have to notify you, though, Scott, that there was a drinking game happening where every time people saw the dog, everybody was supposed to drink. And I don't really know what we're going to do now.
Well, we can bring it back in. Just if the
We'll
chat
come up
if
with
the
some
chat
other reason.
gets a little overheated, just let me know and I can accommodate.
Okay, got it. What's up next, Drew?
The global corporate minimum tax.
Wait a second. Dollar General, were you going to weigh in, Kimberly? Or did I miss
Oh, sorry. I totally forgot. I was distracted by the dog drinking game. I am half
that?
full on Dollar General and corporate minimum, global corporate minimum tax. I am going to say half full that there's going to be something picked up by a lot of the, especially OECD countries. But I will also give the caveat that there will always be a way for big multinational corporations to figure out their way around tax laws. They have very well-paid accountants. What
I'm
about
going to
you?
go half empty based on not a whole lot of information, except that it just seems the idea of some kind of global legal anything, it seems to me, has always been challenging, right? To get all because it's all a lot of these things are voluntary. There's no global magistrate where I think you can kind of go challenge non-compliance. So, and I just feel like corporations have so much pull in so many places that I think I think it's unlikely on a large scale.
So you said based on not a lot of information, which is just absolutely not true, because Scott is one of the reporters who has done extensive reporting over the years on the way that the global economy works and the role of multinational corporations in it. So
Although
just
this
throwing
question
that
has
in there.
managed to seep through my voluminous research because I really don't know.
Okay.
Okay, Drew.
Anything else, Drew?
We got DoorDash drivers gaming the algorithm.
Oh, I love this story. Have you heard about this, Scott?
No, you have to tell me a little more.
So basically, DoorDash drivers in some places are getting together and refusing all of the lowest paid jobs
Oh,
to
uh-huh.
basically create a floor and their own minimum wage. And they're sort of coordinating to game the algorithm so that nobody makes below a certain amount. It's not against the rules as best I understand it, but it
Okay.
can ding them if they don't accept enough jobs. I think it's really cool that workers are taking some agency in these platforms, but I'm half empty because I do believe they're probably going to find a way to either patch it or penalize the workers, unfortunately.
Okay, so help me understand a little bit more about this game. That is, if I'm a
Yes.
DoorDash driver and I have a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
choices, and some deliveries make me more money and some deliveries make me less money, somehow they're gaming it so they're only choosing the ones that pay well?
Yes, or pay above a certain amount and rejecting the other jobs. And if everybody rejects those low paying jobs in a
Mm-hmm.
coordinated fashion, a la the union like that just failed in Alabama, then everybody makes a certain amount.
Oh, okay. Mm. So this is like behavioral science,
Half full,
behavioral
half empty.
economics, right? This is the prisoner's dilemma thing. That's what I'm thinking about, right? Is everybody going to play and say we're all going to boycott the low paying gigs? Or are there going to be people
Mm-hmm,
who cheat the game, right? Who say, you know what?
mm-hmm,
I'm going to take I'm going to take this one, this low paying thing because I need the
mm-hmm.
money, right? Pandemic, whatever,
Yeah.
understandable. Um, and people are continuing to come in to do these jobs. And my sense is like I think this prisoner's dilemmas, game theory thing has been studied a lot, and there are. I feel like in general, I've talked to people who say there are too many incentives to cheat the game, as it were. So
Mm.
my sense is human nature being what it is, like, am I going to choose the greater good? Or if I really need the money, am I going to choose my own self-interest? Am I going to choose my own self-interest, the group interest? So I'm going to say, I'm going to agree with you and go half empty because I feel like these kind of things are so hard to keep everybody on board together for understandable reasons.
I hope you have another one, Drew, because that was a little bit of a downer to end on.
I
Yeah,
have
come on.
Kim Kardashian, the billionaire.
I need an explanation. Kimberly, somebody.
I don't pay any attention to the Kardashians, so I have Drew.
Don't ask me.
Pass. Next question.
I don't pass. I
there
do
a
not know
story?
this story.
No.
Oh, wait. Erica says she made the Forbes billionaires list, but didn't one of her sisters like make the billionaires list but wasn't actually a billionaire? I have to say, like, there has been a long history of certain people having to jump through hoops to prove their billionaire status and other people not. So I'm gonna say half empty. I'm gonna be skeptical of that list in general.
Oh, so you're not sure she's actually a billionaire? Is that it?
I mean,
Is
I
she a
don't
billionaire or
care,
not?
but also like I'm gonna be half empty on the story on general principle.
Well, I mean, we're a database kind of show here, so if she really is worth $1 billion for whatever reason, I'm doing some fast googling on the world billionaire list. I'm going to say, who else am I going to bet on being on that billionaires list? Kind of household name,
Beyonce,
Um,
Jay-Z,
well,
anybody.
all of those can be true, perhaps,
Yes,
right? So at least for
Rihanna.
now. So I think if they tally her as being worth more than $1 billion, I'm going to go with the bean counters and their peer-reviewed empirical numbers and say, yes, she's a billionaire.
Okay, well, we ended on the Kardashians. I don't even know what to do with that. I'm just gonna end. That is it for us today. Kai and Molly are going to be back next week. For now, please keep sending us your questions and comments. We are at makemesmart@marketplace.org. It's so nice to drink with you again, Scott.
I know. Well, we may as well just kind of keep the Zoom line open for this, right? We can.
I know, right? I have to read the rest. Make Me Smart is produced and directed by Marissa Cabrera. Tony Wagner is our digital producer. Stephen Bayan is our digital producer. Our video producer. And our social media intern is Emily McCune. Erica Phillips writes our newsletters, and Make Me Smart Explainers also gives us a heads up about Kardashian stories we don't know about.
The essential news. Today's program was engineered by co-star Drew Justa. Ben Tolliday and Daniel Ramirez composed our theme music, which we are listening to now. Another pet sighting. Don Tam is our senior producer, and the executive producer of On Demand is Satara Nieves.
We're gonna drink together again soon, Scott. Cheers.
Good to see you. Very good to see you.
I know, likewise.
Tell me
And
your
the
cat's name
doggo.
again.
Oh, and now you can see Jasper.